Good morning, everybody. Hey, I'm on my way to church this morning, and I was just meditating and praying, and as I did, I was just feeling so good. And the more that I prayed, like the better that I was feeling. And it wasn't about anything, big and boisterous and anything like that. It was praying for people that I love, and I was asking, the Lord certain things, and just not any particular kind of way. I think sometimes we feel like we have to package our prayers in some kind of a way for them to be properly heard, or we have to be some type of a person in order for our prayers to be received in a certain manner. But that's just not the case. The greatest thing that you can do is just begin to open up your mouth and talk to Him, regardless of where you're at or what your experiences are, or even how long you've been walking with the Lord. It doesn't matter. You can begin deepening your relationship with Him by trusting Him with dialogue. In dialogue, not with, but in. Believing that He's on the other end of that prayer is one of the most important things you could ever work towards. Truly understanding He's there. As you begin to talk to Him, it's what deepens your relationship with Him. And the more that you decide to talk with Him, and the more that you believe, I am not the only one in this conversation, and you begin to see that, your love for Him begins to deepen. Your dependence upon Him begins to grow. And when we talk about a prayer life, I'm not talking about how often do you set aside time at a church with music playing, or in your home with music playing. I'm talking about when you're just going down the road and there's no music playing. If you have to have music every time you talk to the Lord, I think it's a sign for you to mature out of that, to where it's not just in an environment that you can pray. You should be able to talk to Him when it's dead silent and you're going down the road and there's no atmosphere. You're just talking to Him. It's what grows your relationship. Talk to Him. Ask Him questions. I don't understand this. I don't understand why I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. Help me in your word to uncover how I'm supposed to respond. Maybe you've got a temper that rages quickly and out of control. Maybe you have an unhealthy inner dialogue and you beat yourself up. Maybe you're somebody that's depressed on a consistent basis, and it doesn't take anything to trigger you into an anxiety-driven frenzy. Those are the moments that you can go to the Lord and say, I don't understand why I think the way that I think. And I want you to help correct it, because I know that it's not from you. It's creating all these unhealthy issues, and I would love to see it changed. Show me in your word how I can change my actions that adjust the way that I'm feeling and the way I'm dealing. I'd had the Lord, I had some feelings that I was, dealing with in my thought world, and certain things I was just like, I was uncomfortable one day, and the Lord began to give me actions that could change the way that I'm feeling. Did you ever think of that? Like, there may be a deeper seated thing that could change the way you're feeling. And I was frustrated because of the way I was feeling. I don't know if you ever just feel tight. There's some days I would just feel like I couldn't get enough breath, or whatever the case may be. And I was dealing with some of that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I said, I need to change the way that I feel. I need to change this feel. I didn't like it. And I felt like the Lord was saying, hey, let's stay disciplined on a consistent nutrition plan, because that's probably going to help you change things and turn things around. And it was in that moment I'm like, okay, Lord, okay, I see what's going on. So what was happening was I needed to get my nutrition life under control, because that was affecting the way that I was feeling, the way that I was operating up here, because of an issue down here in King's stomach. So the Lord showed me an action that I could change that would affect the way that I was just resting and sitting still or whatever. But it was a kind of a chain reaction. But the Lord showed me an activity or an action that could change the way that I feel. But it happened because of a dialogue that I had with Him. And that dialogue dialogue changed everything. So I want to just encourage you this morning, get into a dialogue with the Lord. Open up your mouth, begin to speak to Him, begin to hear from Him. Go into His Word and find actions to take that could help to alter you for the better. Because the Lord wants to not just have a relationship with you, but a full relationship with you, that you can experience the fullness of a relationship with the Lord. I want to encourage you to truly tap in, not just to a relationship, but a fulfilling, filled relationship with the Lord that will change your life for the better. Hope you have a great Sunday. I hope that you go someplace to worship Him today. Go someplace around other believers. Being around other believers is a very important part of the Christian faith. It's something that mattered in the growth and the exchange of the gospel, the discipling process. It matters. It is important. Get around other believers today. Get up, get out of bed, get dressed. You don't have to look pretty and perfect, but go be around other believers today. Get around them. Be a blessing and be blessed today, because this is a day that the Lord has made. It's Sabbath. Today is the day that we celebrate. Jesus is, of course, the eternal Sabbath, but today is a day where we rest and reflect. Rest and reflect. R&R. Not just rest and relax. It's rest and reflect. Today's a day to rest and reflect on your week. Do something today that changes the week ahead of you. And I believe getting into the presence of God